Members of the Chamber podcast is brought to you by Piper Foods and fueled by McCafe. If you're listening on your way to work, we encourage you to stop by any of the 6 Piper Foods McDonald's locations here in Oakville, or look them up on any McDelivery service. We thank Piper Foods for their generous support of our chamber and for everything they do in the community. The following podcast is an Oakville Chamber production. Learn the industry, grow your network, and connect to the community with the Members of the Chamber podcast, a weekly series where we sit down with esteemed business people making major moves here in Oakville. I'm your host, Rachel Yang, and this is Members of the Chamber. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Members of the Chamber podcast. I am joined here today by Moatassem Moatez, CEO of MYcourier, Inc. Moatassem, thank you so much for joining us today.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Of course. To get started, could you tell us a bit about your entrepreneurial journey and where you are now?
So I'll give you a bit of a background, and I think it's always nice to know the background of the person where he reached. So I was a normal student, just an average student. I'm not the kind of student that you would think of. I had a newspaper selling, or I had these entrepreneurial ideas to sell postcards with my friends at all. Just an average student. I want to pass my grades, just move from one place to another, and that's pretty much it. Then what happened was, after I graduated, I took the normal path that the society is pushing us through. I went into corporate. I worked with a couple of companies. I worked with Unilever. I worked with Nestle in marketing and sales, both in Egypt, where I was born, but then in Dubai, where most of my career was. And then in 2010, I took a leap of faith. And I wouldn't say I started a business. I think I started a side hustle project that turned out into something that I was not expecting.
Perfect.
So I started a side hustle project. It was called Moments of Real Entertainment, and it's purely a discount couponing booklet. And we worked really hard on it as a side hustle, me and 3 of my friends. And then eventually this booklet was purchased by Vodafone as an exclusive deal.
Amazing.
And this is the time that I resigned from corporate, and I said, let me see how this world of own business looks like. Started working in a couple of ventures beside more. Some of them were a disaster and they died really early. Some of them had made decent work and growth. Until in 2019, I took my second leap of faith and I moved to Canada with my family. I'm married, I have 2 boys, so we're a decent family to move with a one-way ticket to Canada. Landed here, Oakville specific. I love the city. I'll speak about it more. And this was 6 months before the pandemic.
Wow.
And I wasn't sure what's going to happen. I didn't plan it to be during the pandemic, but I think it was a blessing during the pandemic. And the idea for it was, when I landed, I tried several things. I tried applying in corporations. Unfortunately, I wasn't accepted. I had this answer that always comes to me is that you don't have a Canadian experience. And unfortunately, I closed this chapter quite fast because I felt it wouldn't go on.
Right.
Tried another couple online businesses, didn't work. Until during the pandemic, I found an opportunity, and the opportunity came purely by chance. I was at home, picked up the phone, was calling a grocery store, asking him to do some deliveries for me, and he said, I don't have any delivery capacity. So it opened my eyes, and maybe this pain point is not just him, it's others. So why don't I explore more this industry? Explored it, went on as a delivery driver for a couple of months, and then in July 2020, MYcourier, Inc. was born.
Fantastic. So you started from the position where you could actually get experience in the industry to really see the pain points and learn about them, and then launch your company.
Correct. And I think it's important to put in mind that there is nothing that is built top down. Most of the things are built bottom up. You start from a certain base, which is, in my case, was starting as a delivery driver, understanding the industry, understanding the pain points of the clients, and then just adding your own spice, if I can say, that makes your company a bit more unique and fitting your own values and culture and taste.
Absolutely. Now, getting into the early days, what was a defining moment when, through all of the things you had tried, how did you know that this one was the right path?
I think the main part in any business is if someone paid you money. And when I mean someone, I don't mean your mom and your dad. I mean someone that is a stranger.
Right.
The day there is someone that pays you $1, this is a validation that, by the way, you got something, a service or a product that the society wants.
Something's working.
Something is working. And I think in all the businesses I did, the defining moment was when Vodafone had partnered with us. In MYcourier, the defining moment was when we signed a contract with Amazon. So these are the main defining moments that made me feel this is not a side hustle anymore. This looks like a real business that I need to put in my energy and my focus.
Fantastic. What were some key challenges that came at the beginning, and how did you overcome them?
I look at business challenges in two ways. I'll tell you the easy one is the transaction challenges, meaning that you're trying to hire someone and it doesn't go well, or you're trying to reach a client and it doesn't go well. All these are challenges that you see, operation challenges, financial challenges, all these are challenges. But I think the toughest one is your own mental and emotion challenge. I can promise you at the beginning, the number of questions I asked myself that I did not have answers for were enormous.
Right.
Am I on the right track? Am I going to be able to succeed? What if I fail? What if I lose money? What will I do? And the problem is, because we're going into this unknown, uncertainty, ambiguity, chaos, you don't know what's going to happen. These questions just more and more grows into your mind. And because sometimes you're surrounding people out of love, they could actually pull you back. They will even push more questions in your mind that you're like, holy boy, what will I do?
Right.
And I think this is the key challenge in any business to start, is are you able to manage your own mental and emotion ambiguity that's happening? And what helped me at that time was, and maybe as something we hear a lot, is the why. My why was very straightforward. Survive. I literally was in a new country. I had bills to pay. I didn't know where to go. So I had to survive. My back was against the wall. There's nothing else I can do. I had to make it work. So this survival hunger mode is a very, very powerful. Not lots of people might face the survival. I don't want everyone to face the survival. It's hard. But there are whys. Your why could be your family. Your why could be freedom. Your why could be having a dream or a passion you're looking for. So having this strong why will help you to overcome the mental, emotional side of it.
Now, getting into maintaining motivation as a self-employed professional, which can be really challenging, what are some personal strategies or habits that you rely on to keep your drive and focus intact or regain momentum when they might be lacking?
Routine is super important. It's putting a routine for yourself in the day, because when you think of it, every day we have emotions that sometimes you wake up and you're like, oh, come on, really? Do I need to really call this client today? Or do I really need to go to the office? Or do I really need to do this operation? I mean, it's super hard to really manage your emotions like any human being. But putting a set of routine in your day, a process that we can call non-negotiable. Non-negotiable. I wake up in the morning, I do 1, 2, 3. I wake up in the morning, I have these set of KPIs I look for. My week is structured that at any particular day, my team knows exactly what I'm going to be doing. There are certain meetings that I have every single week at a particular time. Dashboards that I look for and review. One-to-one meetings with my team. Certain me time every Sunday morning. I come to the office, only myself. I structure my week. I literally work into my mind and just try to get myself ready for the week. So, I mean, having a routine helps a lot, and promise yourself that these are non-negotiable. Whatever happens, I'm not going to break my routine. The other thing that helps is having your support system. And support system is people that you're okay to be vulnerable with. In my case, is my wife. It's okay to be open with her. I'm not feeling this. I don't really know what to do in it. They will be able to push you forward. Right. There'll be this fuel that will get you to the next step. The other part, and I think this is the last one for me here, is the inspirations. Have some sort of an inspiration. Someone walked the same lane you're walking in. Someone in the world. And we're blessed that we're all connected now on social media. So you literally can find anyone in the world and just copy their routine, copy their dreams, copy their goals. And this will help you to know that, by the way, they did it before. Most probably I'll be able to do it again.
Amazing. Mm-hmm. Now, when it comes to juggling the various roles that come with owning a business, what are some best practices that you use for balancing productivity and just your daily operations and everything that comes with that?
It's important to know from a business perspective, where do you stand? What's the phase your business in? I mean, if you're at the beginning, a startup, most probably you're going to be doing everything, and you have to do everything. And I say at that time, the key is focusing on the product itself. What are you selling? Whatever service or a product, but keep this focus on it. And at that time, it's okay that you're going to be off balance with your family, off balance with yourself. And whoever tells you there is work-life balance at this particular phase, they're lying. There is no work-life balance. It's only work, because you're really trying to bring something to life that you're not sure of. And if you're not able to jump in and 100% of your time, 90% of your time will be in work, it's not going to work. Phase 2 is scaling. And in scaling, the focus is purely on people, processes. And this is the time that you can have some sort of a balance, because you will have people that you can delegate to, that you can rely on. And the last phase is the growing of the company. This is where you're like having multiple of revenue coming in, and you're more focused on the psychology of the company, the protection of the company. So whatever the phase is, the part that you need to focus on. In my case, we're more into the scaling. So my focus is purely on the people. And I have a nice saying I read before, says that you need to be comfortable delegating and knowing that your team might not do 100% like you. That's okay. If they do 80%, that's okay. It's wonderful that they can do 80%, and you can then focus on something else to grow your business, grow yourself, grow your team from there.
Absolutely. Now, getting into growth, as you said, you're scaling. As your company has grown, have you adapted your approach to stay productive and keep motivation high?
A company is very similar like your son or daughter. They grow in front of your eyes, but you're always seeing them as a kid. You don't see them mature enough that they can live by themselves, whatever it is. And I think the challenge that business owners have is how or when will you be able to look at a company and say, that's the second stage for it. Now I can let the company go on its own, maybe be managed with the process, the team. And I think this was the part that took a bit of a struggle for me.
Right.
Is to switch between it's a company on operate, I'm working every single day, to a business that is managed by people, by process, by productivity, efficiency. And this shift is very hard. It's very hard.
Yes, I can imagine.
And sometimes you need someone external to actually remind you and tell you, by the way, your company is at a phase now, it's not a survival phase. You can move on. You can invest in people. It's okay. There's nothing wrong. You can leave the company for 2 weeks and it will still operate up to a very great level. So this shift was the one that was key, but I needed a push. And I would say my wife was the push. My wife was the one who told me, by the way, you cannot just work 7 days a week. You need to take a break.
Right.
By the way, you can start hiring people. Why not, you think? And I think it was like maybe 2 years ago that this mind shift happened, and I started looking at as a business rather than an own operate side project.
Fantastic. So it really took multiple factors for you to know that, okay, we're ready to move into phase 2. It wasn't just like one day, oh, yeah, we're ready. We can do it now. It's more than that.
100%. And I think, I'm not sure, was it also because she wanted me at home to help? And this is where she was like, you know what, take a day off. You know what, there is things at home that we need to work on.
Right.
So I wasn't sure, was it more from a business perspective or was it more from a family perspective? But whatever reason it is, I think it worked well. But yes, it takes a bit of a miles to really be able to reach to a level and say, yes, now I can switch, and be comfortable to switch. Because if you switch into delegating to people, but still you're micromanaging them, you didn't do anything. You just added more tasks to yourself. Besides you doing it, you're adding more tasks to follow up on people. So you need to be comfortable to let go, knowing that it's not going to be 100%. It might be 80, but it's okay to be 80.
Right. Now, you mentioned that MYcourier is partnered with Amazon, which is such a huge partnership. What sort of strategy do you have for building those really major partnerships for your business?
So I'll tell you, let me just give you a bit of a story. Sometimes people ask me, how did you get Amazon? I mean, it's a big company.
It's huge.
Yeah, it's huge, to be fair. And I'll tell you a couple of things. One is I knocked lots of doors in 2020. And I reached to a level in one time is I felt, what will I lose if I just go to a big client and ask if you need my service? And the learning there is that sometimes we shy away from asking. There is nothing wrong to ask. Whatever client, customer you have in mind that you're really inspiring to work with, ask them. Because most probably the answer could be yes, but you don't know.
Right.
And the challenge would be when they say yes, how will you service them? And this is what happened with me, is when Amazon said yes, I was like, you're talking serious? Really? I'm like, is this true?
Yeah.
I remember at that time I sent them an email. It was just a cold email. I don't have a contact on Amazon at that time. And I said, this is the company, this is myself, and I would like to be part of your delivery partners. And they replied back by an email saying that we would like to have an interview with you, and here is the link. And this was end of 2020, and at that time there were lots of scams, and I wasn't sure, was this a real email or was this a scam?
Right.
And it took me 3 days to press on the link, because I was like, oh boy, these guys, they're so good. They knew I sent to Amazon and they sent me the email and they're gonna be taking all my details. And I had this sort of a thing, but eventually I clicked on the link, and it was the click that changed my whole career from there.
Thank goodness you did.
Thank goodness I did. How to work or how to sustain is now the challenge, because you can get clients,
Right.
but the challenge is, can they stay with you long? And I would say, add value to the client before asking for any return.
Right.
And adding value, I'll put several lines under adding value, because adding value is not the value you see, it's the value the customer want. And this is the challenge, is understanding what does this customer look for? What is this pain point that they will pay me to solve it? And what are their objectives? Every customer has an objective. Amazon, for example, they look at safety of driving, they look at performance, they look at quality delivery. I have other customers that look on other things. They look at details of timing of your delivery. So every customer has a different objective, different value. Your strength to keep going is identifying the value fast enough and putting your process or systems to be able to answer these questions that they have. Before, and I say this a lot, before asking for a return. Because most of the people would go, first thing that's like, so what are you going to give me? What I'm going to get in the future if this happens or that happens? Don't ask for a return now. Show that you're capable, and eventually the client will reward you with more.
Fantastic. Now, we always love to add some advice in our episodes for the Oakville business community. So what are some simple, easy strategies or techniques that our listeners can use right now to either maintain or boost their motivation or productivity?
One, I would say, your strength is not to hold your emotion. Your strength is how to manage your emotions. So sometimes I'll have a question of, okay, when things are really down, what do you do? I start by crying. I cry, and then after this, okay, now what we're gonna do about it, and then start moving from there. So I think it's key that don't hold the emotions. It's okay to be uncertain. It's okay to feel there's fear and you don't know what's gonna happen next. It's okay to feel lost. All these are perfect emotions we're all passing through. So
you're still a person at the end of the day.
100%. And you don't know the future. No one knows the future. No one knows if we're going to be doing this, we're going to succeed or not. No one's. So it's okay to manage these emotions. But I would put two things with managing the emotions. Is managing also your energy. Your key thing in the motivation space is how can I safeguard my energy? If people that I speak with are pushing me back, are negative, safeguard your energy, don't spend time with them. If there's a task you're doing in the day and you know that's gonna drain your energy, make it the last thing in the day. So then your energy at the beginning of the day is still boosted, you're still creative, you're still able to go forward. So managing the energy. And the two things I personally do to manage my energy, one, movement helps me a lot. So whatever type of workout you want to do, you go to the gym, you want to walk, cycle, whatever it is, just some sort of a body movement really bursts this type of energy. And second, that helps my energy is having some progress. I might have an email, I'm draining, should I send it, should I not send it? Just having a progress of sending the email makes me feel, I took a step.
Right, something to tick off the list.
Well done. And these type of results, and result doesn't have to be the outcome. Results could be ticking the list by, I did this action today, will make you feel, things are moving. Let me do more. A snowball effect will start happening.
Now, you touched on this a little bit, but what role does your support system, whether that's your family, your friends, even your work team, play in your business journey?
Choosing your support system is hard because some of them you consciously choose and some of them are just handed over to you through friends, partner, family. You don't have a choice.
Right.
So they're just there.
Right.
So I think it's key to understand that not all support systems are there to push you forward. Not all of them. Some of them are there for you to survive. I mean, I'll give an example. Parents, they always wish the best for their kids. But the challenge is, because they wish the best, sometimes their mind doesn't really dream big. Right. So they think always that, let's have our kids safe. Maybe have this job, or don't even invest in this, or you know what, save just your money, don't put it in something that could be a bit more risky. They're doing it out of love.
Right.
But then they hold back ambition for their kids. So I would say if you're able to put the support system in your life in categories, and each category you're able to understand what is the outcome that will come out of it, it will make your life easier. For example, a community like the Oakville Chamber. It's a great community, but it's a community you choose. So because you choose this community, you're able to understand what are you going to get out of it.
Right.
In my point of view, what I got out of the Oakville Chamber is great validation, credibility, and referrals. I got referrals not for clients, but I got referrals for vendors, partners I can work with, that I know that at the end, if the Oakville Chamber have referred them, most probably they had been vetted and they're a good reference to work with.
Right.
And the last part that you get out of the community is you don't feel you're alone.
Right.
This is the business world is a very lonely journey, unfortunately. And because it's a lonely journey, sometimes you want someone to just walk next to you and tell you, by the way, that's okay. This challenge has been there before. You'll pass it. And I tell a lot of people, if you start your journey, eventually you will succeed. 100% you will succeed. The challenge is not will you succeed, the challenge is when will you succeed. And some people don't have enough breath to hold until they succeed. They cut the journey a bit early. And some people would keep going. Having a community is there to just push you more in the journey. Every time you feel like, I'm gonna throw the towel, they're like, hold, keep going. You still get more into you. You still get more into you. And that's the community.
Perfect. Great advice.
Yeah.
If you could tell yourself, your younger self, one thing about your journey or one thing to help, what would it be?
I'll say two things. One is stay focused on your lane. Don't look to the side. I think throughout my journey, we always get pushed by seeing the shiny things that other people have.
Absolutely.
You can see someone in a certain journey and you're like, oh man, if I just work the same thing that they do. So you move to their lane. But the thing is, your lane is the best lane that had been fit for you personally, with your own values, with your own strength, with your own uniqueness. Everyone is different. The challenge is we're always thinking of this fast magic pill that will make us succeed quickly in everything, be it weight loss, be it business, be it financial, be it happiness. But the challenge is if you focus on your lane, you grind every single day, eventually you will reach to success in your own term, whatever success in your definition is. So I think I would tell myself, focus on your lane. And the second thing I would tell myself is it's okay to take a risk. Because eventually you will solve the puzzle. Our mind is not designed to unfold the future. It's not designed. But our mind is super powerful, and people sometimes don't know what they got inside them to unleash in the business world, except when you go out there and you do it. I was an average student, as I said at the beginning. I didn't have any superpowers, nothing, or nothing that I saw at that time. But then when I started taking risks, and these risks pushed me to dig deep and see what else do I have, what other skills, tools, uniqueness I can play around with. I think these are the things that eventually helped me in my business, from business development, connecting with people, building processes, building people skills. All these are things that I never knew I had in me because I never used it. They're on the menu list, but you never ordered them.
Right. Now, looking ahead, what is next for yourself and for MYcourier?
Myself, I think I want to engage more and more with the community. I mean, one of them is being on the board of directors of Oakville Chamber. I want to really put more out there and share. And share my experience, share my knowledge, share my network, because I know there are lots of people out there that have great ambition, but sometimes you need this one message that tells you there is hope, keep moving forward. And if I could be part of this message, if I could be the one person that someone will see a video in the morning, or will see a message in the morning, or will have a talk during one of the events of the chamber, and they'll just say to themselves, let me keep going, it will make my day. From a business perspective, I love the logistics industry. It's a growing industry. It's an industry that we see that it will stay for a while. Everyone
Absolutely.
now is ordering everything online. And by the way, whoever is watching, there's always going to be Prime days. There's always going to be peaks. So people will always be ordering. And I'm really doubling down on this and growing it, and growing organically as well as with acquisitions. So this is what we're looking for.
That's exciting. We can't wait to see what's next.
Thank you.
So throughout your business journey, is there any key story or moment that you'd like to share?
I'll tell you a story, which I think it's, I'll tell you a story. In end of 2019, I started an online business. This was before thinking of any delivery or courier business at all.
Okay.
And it was an online business, buying products, selling it online. And one of the places that I was thinking to sell online was Amazon.
Right.
So at that time I said, okay, because I'm going to sell on Amazon, why don't I learn more about them? So they have a fulfillment center, and it's a nice, huge warehouse, with all these robotics, and they do visits.
Okay,
And
I didn't know that.
Now, so yeah, even until now, you can go and book a visit to go and see the warehouse, and they take you around, and it's a huge, visit that you do. So I went there, and remember, this is end of 2019, before a pandemic was coming.
Right before.
And my mind was all around, I'm going to be selling products on Amazon. After you finish the tour, they start giving you some merchandising. Okay, and you choose whatever merchandising you want. I picked one merchandising, and I picked this.
Oh my gosh.
I
wow.
picked a van.
Yep.
And I wrote on it, I remember at that time, November 2019, and I wrote start of the journey.
That's incredible.
In my mind, it was selling products on Amazon.
Right.
If someone came at that time and told me a year from now, Amazon will be your client, I would doubt them, saying, sell them what? And I'm saying this for one reason is sometimes the mind doesn't really know the future.
Right.
And doors do open if you really put in the work. But it's us that sometimes hold back because we're always assuming we're able to solve it in our mind today, but you're not going to be able to solve it today in your mind because it unfolds much, much, much bigger than what your mind can get. It's just take this step, have some progress, and eventually you might land a client that would be so big for you that you will say, holy man, how will I service them now?
That's incredible. That's such a great full circle moment. I can't believe that.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So this is the story of the Amazon small toy.
Yeah, perfect. Now, as we close the episode, if there are listeners who are interested in learning more about you or learning about MYcourier, what is the best way for them to connect and reach out?
Social media would be the best. I'm active on LinkedIn and on Instagram. Again, I love to connect with people. If anyone has a question, do share your successes, share your failure, your doubts, and as a community, let's all grow together.
Amazing. All right, Moatassem, thank you so much for joining us. This has been such a great episode. Thank you for spending the time.
Thank you very much, and looking forward.
Thanks for tuning in to the Members of the Chamber podcast by the Oakville Chamber of Commerce. Connect with hundreds of Oakville businesses and learn more about what we do at oakvillechamber.com.